All right, folks, if you would once again hit star 6, make sure the lines stay clear throughout the call this morning. I do greatly appreciate that. And let me just say, welcome to the call to everybody. It's hard for me to welcome each one of you individually as you announce yourselves. We've got people on the line this morning, as you heard, from Canada, from all over the United States, from Sweden. I mean, this has truly become an international call with people that are passionate about what we have to offer here with Zija International, both from a product standpoint as well as from the business opportunity that is available to all of us. Obviously, those of us that are on the line this morning are distributors. There may be some guests, just checking this out, and I know I did hear that there are some guests on the line this morning. We're going to talk about what does it take to get off to a fast start within Zija International. My name is Doug Stroop. My wife Amy and I have had the wonderful privilege of being involved with Zija since July of 2009, so I reckon about 4.5 years or so. We've been consuming the product as well as sharing it with others and training other distributors, basically just to plug into the system and do what we do. People have just become very passionate about the products and about the opportunity for financial freedom and the health to be able to enjoy that and the time freedom that comes from that. So because you're on the call this morning, it shows me that you're serious about this. We realize that this is a busy time of year for a lot of people. Sometimes people even kind of let their businesses slide a little bit because of other things going on around the holidays with Christmas and New Year's. We choose not to do that. We want to just continue to train people, continue to introduce folks, continue to, invite them to look at the information. And again, because you're on the line this morning, it shows us that you really are committed. Not to say that others aren't, but thank you for taking the time to be on the call this morning to really learn what we've done by plugging into the system and how to get your business off to a fast start. We do have the privilege, certainly not by ourselves by any means, but to have achieved the leadership level of Black Diamond in the compensation plan. Again, that is not an indicator of us and who we are. It really is an indication of a wonderful team, a passionate team, wonderful products, great business plan. All of those things come together to allow all of us, anyone, to be highly successful within Zija International. Folks, everything is in place already. And so we've simply just plugged into that 4.5 years ago and continue to take the steps forward to achieve higher leadership levels and to help others do the same thing to bring them right along to the higher leadership levels as well. So again, thank you for being on the call this morning. Let's jump right into this. I've got a lot of information that I want to share, but I want to make sure that you have pen and paper available right there. And also, even better, if you have the two documents, if you received an email about the call today, then there was a flyer there announcing that I'll be doing the call, and also it had a couple of links there for the Fast Start Training outline page, as well as another one called the Path to Success. If you received that email, you can go there right now if you've not already done so, and you can print those out. You can take notes on those pieces of paper, and then when the call is complete today, then you simply just get in contact with your sponsor or your active engaged upline, and you get whatever questions come up during this call. You get those answered, because that truly is why we're here today. It's for you. It's for the new person. Right? It's for the one who maybe you've been in for a little while and now you're ready to engage and get off to this fast start. That's perfectly fine. Every day is a wonderful day to start over. So that's okay. If you've been in for a while and you haven't really done much with it, now's a wonderful time to start. And then also for that brand new person, that brand new distributor that just came in, this is the time for you to really hit the ground running with both feet and following this simple duplicatable system that we'll talk about, working together with your team, inviting others to look at information. It's just a wonderful, wonderful team effort And it's a lot of fun, honestly, to work together like this and to help others achieve their goals as well. So you could also go to One Team Worldwide. Again, I'm going to be sharing a lot of information and trying to squeeze this into a short amount of time as we can, because I greatly respect your time. But I know you're here to receive this information, so take a lot of great notes again. But you can go to oneteamworldwide.com. That's ONE. OneTeamWorldwide.com. You can go click on the member login there in the upper right-hand corner. Put in the password, which is millionaire. It's all lowercase. MILLIONAIRE. One more time. That password is millionaire, all lowercase, MILLIONAIRE. You want to plug in that password, and that'll take you to the back office there. Some wonderful training documents, including these two that we're covering today. You can click on there, and you can print those out from there as well if you need to do that. So it's important, if you can, get those in front of you while we go through the information. Otherwise, at least have pen and paper so you can take these notes and discuss these things with your sponsor when the call is over. Before I get into the Fast Start training outline as it is here on your sheet, I want to just talk about some commitments, because I truly believe that if a person makes a commitment to do the business building activities on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, just consistently doing the business building activities, you will be highly successful within Zija International, again, because everything is here for you to do so. So let me just write down a few of these commitments that I just want to share with you this morning. When you're making this commitment, I want you to think about making a commitment for 1 year. We just want to put a time frame on it, because everything is already in place. If you make your commitment right now in your mind and you write it down, I will still be here 1 year from now building my Zija business, doing the business building activities that I need to be doing on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, then folks, I can tell you a very, very high percentage of you that make that commitment right there, that one commitment alone, you'll be successful a year from now. So here's some of the commitments that I want you to write down. First, it would be completing the Fast Start training. Well, you're doing that here today by being on this call. But I would also use these commitments and the things that we're going to talk about, you as becoming a leader within Zija, within your own team, and then all around the Zija Nation. You want to be sure you're passing these things along to your new distributors as well. So, this is one of the first commitments you want to make, is to complete the Fast Start training. Another one is going to be to go through the Zija University in your back office. Watch all the videos, look at all the supporting documents, all of those things. Become familiar there with all of that at that Zija University, because that's the two pieces of homework that I give all new distributors. Go through the Fast Start training, and go through the Zija University. That's going to answer a lot of your questions and the questions of your new distributors as well. Another commitment you want to make is commit to at least 1 or 2 exposures a day. Just inviting someone, look at the information, sample the product. If you make that commitment, then you're going to have your funnel full of people that you're following up with and following through. And many of those are going to become a part of your team. Why? Because you're giving them some information and or you're giving them sample of the product. That's another commitment. Here's another one. Either hosting or attending weekly events. This is not necessarily a business about attending meetings all the time, but it's extremely important to either host or attend one at least once a week. Find out where they are in your area and go to those. You can learn so much. I've had people ask me that, Doug, you're a top leadership level with this company. Why do you continue to listen into some of the conference calls, and why do you continue to go to these meetings? I mean, you're already in top leadership. Well, it's because you can always learn. You can always learn. If you're coachable, if you're teachable, you can always learn more nuggets. I mean, you can find little gold nuggets of something that you've never heard before that can really benefit you in your business building. right? You may hear something that you'd heard before, but you'd forgotten. I mean, it's just all part of fine-tuning and personal development, continuing to grow as a leader, continuing to move forward in building your team and your distributors and training them as well. So either host or attend a weekly event. Well, that obviously means that you will have attended or hosted 52 of those if you do that between now and this year of commitment that you're making. That'll go a long way in building your business because you'll be able to get the information into a lot of people's hands. Another commitment, and I'm pausing here a little bit, trying to slow down just a little so that you can take some time to write these down. Send out at least one information packet or fit pack, long distance, per week. Send out at least one info pack or a fit pack. You can do that through your back office, long distance, per week. Over 250 miles away. You'll be able to start pockets of activity in those different areas all around the country, or even in other countries, as Zeta is certainly a global company. Wonderful opportunities to do that. So think about who do you know, not just in your local area, but also a long distance from you. Other commitments that we need to be making here as we get off to a fast start. Attending all of the Super Saturdays, the regional events, the corporate events, all of those events. All the leaders need to be at all of those events. You're going to learn a whole lot. You'll be able to be there to meet field leaders and corporate leaders face to face. It's just amazing. There's nothing like being there face to face in person. Another commitment, and that is to personal development. One of the biggest things that occurs here within Zeta International is that it changes us to become better people. Seeing things positive, being able to become a leader, being able to help those by getting their questions answered and helping to develop and to train others to become leaders. Doing all of these things really, really helps us. And then reading books and listening to CDs, watching DVDs, all of those things are very, very important in the area of personal development. I think it's also a wonderful commitment to make to get someone that can be your business partner. So you're not by yourself, right? None of us are by ourselves. Remember this, you're in business for yourself, but you're not by yourself. We have a wonderful team that all works together. So you want to find yourself a business partner. It's kind of like working out in the gym, right? You want to have a workout partner because it helps to keep you in tune to what you're doing and motivated, and you can really work together and help each other. So you want to have that accountability, all of those things. So many times the business partner will help to stretch us just a little bit more. And those are all good things. So that's just a few commitments I wanted to run by you and have you write down today. There is a document out there as well, 10 core commitments. I believe it may be also in the back office of One Team Worldwide. But that's just some commitments I want you to think about as we enter into this Fast Start training outline. But if you've made those commitments and you're going to still be here doing these things a year from now, a very, very high percentage of you will be successful within that year. Let's take a look now at the Fast Start training outline. And I just have to say this. I feel very much privileged to have the opportunity to educate folks because in many, many ways I feel like this information is equipping us to really take this thing to the next level. And again, that's why you're here. So I just feel very blessed to have the opportunity to do this and to educate and equip you, because I feel like that's empowering you to get out there and do what needs to be done to touch a lot of other people's lives. And as you make a difference in other people's lives, you're also going to be getting the things that you need, right, for yourself and for your family and for your future. Think about this concept as we begin going down through the Fast Start training outline. Basically, the foundation of this is duplication. That really is the key to all of our success. As I've mentioned a couple of times already at the top of the call, Amy and I did not make it to Black Diamond by ourselves. You can't do that, folks, and I want you to understand that. None of us can make it to top leadership by yourself. You must have a team. You must have a system. You work together as a team. You begin to duplicate that system throughout your team and throughout the leaders that pop to the top. You know, they say, hey, I want to do this. What do I do? That's why you're on the call today. So remember this. You're looking for those leaders. You're looking for those business partners that you can duplicate this system into them, and that duplication really is the key to your success. And I have to tell you, it really gets to be a lot of fun when you start having and seeing others that are out there, you know, sponsoring new people, and then as that, you know, they get two, and those get two, and those get two, it really does get fun because you start seeing them become successful, as well as you start seeing the volume increase for everybody. And, you know, it's just some wonderful parts of this business that we truly, truly enjoy, and that's a big part of it, seeing others duplicate your efforts as well. We're not out there selling our products, so I want to get that mindset out of your minds if it's in there right now. Selling products is something totally different than what we do. We're literally sharing our story. Hey, this is what it's done for me. Let's put this in your body. Right? Let's get you started on this opportunity, and let's see what it does for you, right? And so you can say that from the product standpoint as well as from the business standpoint. This is what it's done for us, right? Time freedom, financial freedom. There's so many things that this opportunity has done for us, and we're truly excited to share that with someone else. Why? Because most people are looking for what we have to offer. Most people are looking for better health and better finances. And folks, you realize we have the answer to both of those. So as you share your story with them, you really, you're giving them the same opportunity that you have. And you're going to set up that distribution network within that person or that couple or whoever, you know, where they have the same opportunity that you and I have here with Zija. So when we talk about sharing our story, I think it's very important that we don't ramble on and try to just fill their minds with all the information we can think of about Moringa or about the compensation plan or whatever it may be. We're simply fine-tuning that story, and we're creating curiosity in the listener. So I want to go through what does it mean to develop your Zija story. Obviously, if you know, many of you are brand new to this call, brand new to this business, your story will unfold, right? It will develop as you consume the products, you know, more consistently or for a longer time, or as you share with other people, right? Your story is going to develop, and it will change over time. And that's perfectly fine. But what I want to do is talk about what are some of those elements that should be contained in your story. You can see on your outline there's 3 of them, and they're extremely important. But I want to give you more elements of that Zija story, because this is what, you know, we've included in ours. Many, many folks have included in their story. We're going to just expand that a little bit from what's on the outline there. So take some notes here. There's 10 of these. And so I'm just going to go right down through here, tell you what they are with a little bit of explanation of each one. So these would be the basic elements that you want to include in your personal Zija story. Right? This is not somebody else's story. This is your story. And it needs to be true to you. It needs to be personal. Now, you can use someone else's story, but make sure they know that. You know, I have a friend or I have a family member, and this is what their story. That's perfectly fine. We do those things a lot. But I'm talking about developing your own personal story. So here's some of those basic elements. Again, there's 10 of them. We'll go down through each one with just a slight explanation for each one. First is going to be your name, obviously. The second, your background. Your background, basically, I'm a teacher, I'm a coach, whatever it is that you do. Number 3, how were you introduced? And that could basically be who introduced you. Is it a friend, a coworker, family member, whoever it may be? Right? So 1 is your name, 2 is your background, 3, how you were introduced to Zija. Point number 4, you might want to add how you got started. What do I mean by that? Well, was it a Builder 1, a Builder 2, a 150 auto ship? It depends on where you are that you may or may not include that part in your story. But it's important because it's creating curiosity in the listener. And what happens is, let's say you're at the ZG event and you've got 5 or 10 people that have been asked to come stand up front and all share their story. Well, if each one of them are containing these same elements of their story, they're going to say, here's how I got started with a Builder 2 system and a 150 auto ship, and I maximized the comp plan. I wanted to make sure I got all the different income streams. What happens to that new person, that guest that's sitting in the audience hearing 5 or 10 people say that same little nugget in their story? Well, they're going to get it. They're going to say, oh, well, that's very important. I need to do that too. Right? So that's why it's important to include how you got started. Point number 5, the product results. Remember to keep that compliant. Compliance is a huge issue when you're talking about nutritional supplements. So we're not talking about a disease condition. We're not making disease claims. We are not pretending to be doctors. Keep it compliant. I'm pausing here for emphasis. You're not going to be mentioning any specific disease names. You're simply talking about whatever that symptom was, whatever, hey, I saw great improvements in my health. So you can do that in just one short little sentence. I couldn't sleep, now I sleep great. Something really simple that pertains to you, right, in your own personal story. So that was point number 5, was your product results. Point 6, how you plugged into the system. We're going to talk about the system a lot more in just a few minutes. But for the sake of including this in your story, that'll be point number 6. How did you plug into the system? Meaning, for instance, you started getting on the conference calls. You started doing 3-way calls. You started attending the meetings and hosting meetings, making new exposures daily. The things that we talked about in those core commitments a few moments ago, those are all part of plugging into the system and making your commitment. Point number 7. I want to include how you're helping and training other people. Why? In order for duplication. That's the key. We talked about that. So just tell them, I began to train other distributors to do what I do. Just plug into the simple duplicatable system, and you began to see duplication occur. At that point, you may want to talk about the business results. We've been able to achieve the level of Black Diamond. You may, whatever it is that's personal to you, you've been able to achieve the level of bronze or gold or silver platinum, whatever it may be. You can include that in your story because that is a direct business result directly related to duplication. That was point 7. Point number 8, and that can be included all in there, but just how plugging into the system worked to help you reach that pin rank. These are just some basic elements of your story. So point 8, just so there's no confusion there, how the system worked to help you reach the pin rank. Point number 9, and this is kind of a visionary statement, but I think it's wonderful to just cast a vision in the mind of the listener. Point number 9, you might want to say, where do you see Zija taking you in the next 6 to 12 months? Where do you see Zija taking you in the next 6 to 12 months? And folks, that's genuinely very exciting. When you see the potential that is here and you make the commitments and you do these business building activities, you can see the potential of where you will be in the next 6 to 12 months. So that's point number 9. Point number 10, you may want to close it off saying, and the best part is, and that's a quote. I hear a lot of people close out their story by saying that, and the best part is, whatever it is for you. And you can fill in the blank there as you close out your Zeta story. All right, let's move along here. We're going to talk about one of the very, very foundational, most important things to do in getting started in a business is obviously making a list of people that you want to reach out to. You can make a couple of lists. You could have a list of customers, a list of distributors. You could think about, you could think about those that you know that would greatly benefit from the product. Well, guess what? That's everybody. Everybody can benefit from these products. They're wonderful. And we know that, and we want to share that with other people that can benefit from this. So anybody you can think of can benefit from the product. So you just jot their names down as they come to mind. There's also different memory joggers that you can look at, and it'll bring things to your mind, or different people to your mind that you may not have thought about for years. But you want to write all those down and begin to contact them. Other ones that maybe some prospective distributors, right? A customer can also be a distributor, but all distributors are customers, right? Because they're all consuming the product themselves. A distributor prospect may be somebody that you would really like to work with. You think about that person. Wow, it'd be great to have them on my team. Maybe it's a person that already has a successful business and understands business, understands what it takes to be successful, the commitment that it takes. Maybe they've got a large contact base of people. Whatever it may be. But remember this, don't never prejudge anybody. A lot of people make that mistake, they know somebody, they see somebody, whatever, and for some reason in their minds, they will prejudge that person and say, no, well, they probably wouldn't want to get started because whatever you're thinking in your mind, well, don't prejudge those people. You might be pleasantly surprised. We just share with them the information. So let's talk about the system, right? Because we want to let them make the decision, but they need to make an educated decision. You let the information do the work for you. And so that brings us right into what is the system and how do we use that? The system itself is very, very simple. 3 steps. You're looking at the outline. It's right there towards the middle of the page. Invitation, presentation, and validation. You could also say peek, pass, and plug. It's very, very simple. Same idea, same concept, just different words. So what you're doing is, in step number 1 of the system, you're simply inviting someone to take a look at the information in the product. You're just going to share your story. Right there is where you want to share your story of here's what it's done for me. And you're creating the curiosity, right? So now we can see why developing your story is so important. Because you're just telling them, here's my personal story, here's what I did, here's what this has done for me, and here's where I see it taking me in the next 6 to 12 months, and this is it's a wonderful thing. So you're genuinely excited, you're genuinely enthusiastic, you're not trying to pressure anybody at all. You're just sharing your story. Because people don't want to feel like you're trying to sell them anything. You're not. You're simply giving them an opportunity. So you're inviting them. By sharing your story, you're inviting them to see if there's some interest, some curiosity, and wanting to look at some more information. That's step number 2, the presentation. Now, in the presentation, that is not done by you. That is done by the tools that are available. We've got conference calls. You can bring them onto a conference call, let them listen in, and hear someone else talk about Zeta products and opportunity. And you can use these little conference calls. They're 30 minutes long. We have them basically every day of the week. There's 9 Eastern time every morning, 9:30 Eastern time every evening. There's conference calls going on just about every day of the week. So you want to use those calls to invite the people to come on because they're going to hear the information from someone else. And then you can call them up afterwards and say, hey, what do you think? And when you call back to follow up, right, you may have given them a CD, a DVD, a newspaper, a brochure, whatever it may be. You may have sent them to your website to check out the links and watch the videos there. There's all wonderful tools that you want to allow to do the presentation for you. So then when you call to follow up, this is the third step of the system, and it's the validation. This is a three-way call, so you make sure you know how to do three-way calls before you start doing this. But you're connecting them to someone on your team. Maybe your sponsor, someone that's on your team that they can then validate the information that your new person looked at. Now, on this step 3 of the system, it's very, very important that the new prospect has looked at information. They have seen some type of a presentation via, the information, not just from you talking to them, right? But you're letting the tools do the presentation for you. It's extremely important that they have looked at something before you do step number 3. Otherwise, the one you're connecting them with has nothing to validate. That makes sense? So, you make sure that that has taken place. And there's protocol of a proper three-way call, validation call. You want to make sure that you're edifying the person that you're connecting them to. You're introducing the people to each other. And basically, you're going to sit back and mute out and just listen and let them talk. Because then, we will validate that information that your new person has already seen. And that makes it extremely important. And it makes it become fact, right? Because many times we're saying the same things they've already heard or seen, but it's being validated. It's becoming fact. It's concrete. It's true. Right? So that's the system. And I would certainly say every single one of us, in order to get off to a fast start, really must plug into the system. And if you have other questions about any of these things, again, after the call, you want to get together with your sponsor or your active engaged upline and make sure you get those questions answered. It's important that you may even want to practice the three-way call to make sure that you know what buttons to push, right? Every phone may be a little bit different than the others. So you want to make sure you know how to do that on your particular phone. Now we're going to go a little bit more of information here. And the rest of this information, basically, probably, 15 more minutes or so on the call today. But the rest of the information really is for that serious distributor, the person that really, they don't want to make just $1,000 a month, but they want to go way up beyond that to $10,000, $20,000 and more per month, and even beyond that. But I don't want to blow your mind with those really large numbers. Those things are achievable here with ZJ International, but those are for the ones that really, really make the serious commitment to do the business building activities that we've talked about throughout this call thus far. Once you have a new distributor that is on your team, you want to make sure that you are plugging them in to, we call it the power line or the team, right, that is there that they can work with, and we do that by a lifeline call. So you want to make sure that you're connecting your new distributor to anywhere from 3 to 5 of their team. Because what happens is if they need you and they can't get you at that moment, then they know that they have others, and they've heard their stories, and they've heard their passion, and they've got their names, and they've got their phone numbers, and they know that there's others that they can contact that's all part of their team, all working together to ensure the new person's success. So make sure that you do that, and those calls really are developing that whole concept of the team. And I tell you, think about that for yourself. If you have a question, that question becomes a hurdle if you can't get an answer. And if you try and get an answer and you feel like you've hit a brick wall, then what's going to happen? You're just going to stop because you can't get beyond that question. Well, if you have a team, chances are you're going to be able to get your question answered fairly quickly because you'll be able to reach at least one person, someone on your team. Plus, you get to hear their stories. You get to see that this is a much larger vision. This is much larger than just you or just me or just one person because we're all working together. Another thing I want you to do as a new distributor is set your goals. It's extremely important that you write out your goals. And, some of these things that we're talking about, they appear on both documents, the Path to Success as well as the Fast Start Training Call. So you want to write down those goals. Don't just think about them and say, what, it would be nice if I could achieve this or that. But write them down. Folks through ZJ International that are achieving these levels of higher levels of success, top levels of leadership, they're seeing their goals and their why, W-H-Y. They have these, here's why I want to be successful in ZJ. And they're writing these things down, and I'm telling you, these things are becoming a reality in many, many, many lives throughout ZJ Nation. So it's not just something that you say, oh, well, maybe, hopefully, I wish. Write it down and then make the commitments that we're talking about, and those things can and do become reality in your life. But do you see that for yourself? I really want you to think about that. What is your vision for what you can accomplish with your team and with all that ZJ allows you and brings to the market for you to be successful? I've already talked about making that one-year commitment and doing those business-building activities. But then work together with your team so that person, that sponsor, can help you sponsor your first two people really within your first week, within your first few days, few hours. It's however it happens for you, but you want us to have that sense of urgency to sponsor your first two people right out of the gate as quickly as you can. And then get to the Builder 500 as quickly as you can. Speed qualify, which means Team 250 within your first month of business. Again, write these things down. If I'm saying things and you don't know what they are, write it down. Get those questions answered after this call is complete. But I'm telling you, everything is here. It's in place. If you follow this system, if you work together as a team, if you have the help there to get your first two and then to immediately help them get their first two, everybody knows at least two people, right? Obviously, you don't stop with two. You continue going. You continue sponsoring people. You continue qualifying for Team 250 month after month. And then getting to the Builder 500 as quickly as you can. And not just one time, but every week, every cycle. Builder 500 and above. That's of huge importance to you as well as to the team and to your sponsor. You also want to make sure that you are familiar with your back office. There's so much information available there for you and for me in the back office that we have information. The library is there, which has all the supporting documents. You want to go there. You want to see those supporting documents. You want to see those product profiles. You want to see that compensation plan sheet that spells it all out, and the product order form, and all those different things that are there. There's photographs, so there's all kinds of JPEG images and things that you can utilize to help you build your business. So it's important that go take a few minutes, go through a back office tour with your sponsor. So you can say, it's a navigational thing. Oh, okay, I'll click there, and that's how you find the things that you need to continue building your business. You can enroll there in the ProPay card. That's extremely important as well. So that way it's electronically transferred onto your card every Friday that you qualify to get paid, rather than waiting to get a paper check mailed out to you. But you can find out how to enroll your customers and distributors right there in your back office, looking in your genealogy. Clicking on the spot that says sponsor someone into this spot. You can learn how to place an order, an auto ship, or how to edit those things. All of that is available to you in your own back office. So make sure you take some time as a serious distributor to orient yourself to know how to navigate through that. I also mentioned at the top of the call another website called OneTeamWorldwide.com. If you missed at the top of the call, it is spelled O-N-E. OneTeamWorldwide.com. If you want to register there for that newsletter, David Moses, top income earner in the company, does a great job with that website. A great training site. Lots of videos there, lots of documents in the back office. Again, password is millionaire, all lowercase, to get into the back office of that site. You conference call schedule is there that we talked about earlier. You can see the number and the times and all that. That's important. All of these things are here to help every one of us get off to a fast start and to establish ourselves as leaders in this company and to be on our journey to experiencing high levels of success. So as we wrap this up, just for the last few minutes, just reiterating what it is that we're doing here in Zija. I've talked about a lot of different information. We talked about the importance of developing your story, making your commitment, making your list, plugging into the system, becoming oriented with your back office and the three-way calls, and all of these things that we've talked about are here to help you and to help anyone to be highly successful. But you need to go through this Fast Start training as often as needed until you literally can train it yourself. Because these are the fundamentals of what it takes to become successful here within Zija International. You want to sponsor new people and you want to train them to sponsor new people. If you really boil it down, that's what we do. We sponsor new people and we train them to sponsor new people, and then all of these other things come into play for every new distributor all along the way. And when you do that, you're establishing duplication. As you do these things, as you make these commitments, and you begin just plugging away at doing this on a consistent daily basis, people begin seeing you as a leader. And again, going back as we close, that's where the personal development comes into play. It's extremely important that all of us are doing some type of personal development on a consistent, better even a daily time frame. Reading those books, finding out from other leaders, what it takes to really truly become a leader. But the time will click, and I remember when it clicked in my mind, when I got a call from one of my distributors, and by the way that this person was talking to me, I knew they saw me as their leader. And I had a decision to make. Am I going to step up to the plate and become that leader that they see me and that they need me to be for them? Or am I not? Am I going to play games with this opportunity? Or am I truly going to commit to this and become in top leadership and become successful? Well, obviously my wife and I made that decision to make the commitment to it. And it's been a wonderful, amazing journey for all of us. We desire that same amazing journey for all of you, the same top leadership level. I know that we are now in the Christmas season, going into a new year. Folks, I want to say Merry Christmas to everyone, and I also want to say the things that you and I do right now, doing the foundational things that we're talking about with this training, becoming what my wife likes to say, brilliant at the basics. As we do these things now, we will be setting ourselves up for huge success in the new year. One of the biggest times of growth over the years throughout network marketing is in that first quarter. New Year's resolutions for weight management, for better finances, better health, all of those things take place within the first quarter of every new year. So the things that you and I do right now are establishing the foundation for your growth and your success in 2014. Let's get back with the person that has sponsored us, the person that brought us to this call. Let's get our questions answered. Let's begin this sponsoring of others and training them to sponsor others. And then when you do that, you'll see that duplication occur that will take you and your team to top leadership levels and high success. So again, with